Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Welcome wherever you are in the world, either watching this live or the replay. Just winding down to 9 o'clock here. The light's a bit weird this morning. I hope everybody can see this okay. I've had to switch devices, weirdly enough. I'm on my old device, so the light and the webcam quality might be a little bit sketchy. And whoop, got the window open a little bit, just a little bit of natural light come in. Anyway, hopefully the video and audio are okay. So today, episode 7 of the Mindset Reflexology Show, all things mindset and psychology for traders. I want to talk about core trading psychology principles. Now, could probably subtitle this probability thinking or the probability mindset. So this is all about what we need to have as our core, self-talk, our self-statements to start to transform our thinking to probability thinking. And before I get too far in, I must pay tribute to Mark Douglas. Mark Douglas is one of the most famous and best trader and trader coaches in the world, someone who I consider a mentor of mine, even though we've never met. He has been coaching and teaching and trading since the 1980s. So he's been around a while. I've been trading and coaching since the mid to late 90s, but Mark Douglas is one of those guys that is a legend in the industry. So a lot of what I want to talk about today references and is inspired by Mark Douglas. So core trading psychology principles, probability thinking. So I think this is one of those things that we can all intellectually understand. It's not too difficult, core beliefs, statements, principles that we might want to write out, print out, have in front of us. So that's not too difficult. And I'll go through the 8, core psychology principles for traders shortly. But the real key is, and what I want to get to later in this episode is, how do we make them real? How do we take action to make these beliefs real inside us at a functional level, so we operate from that functional level, often in contradiction to our existing core beliefs? And how do we go through that transition process to pull the energy out of our old beliefs and inject energy into these new beliefs? So perhaps the best place for me to start would be to go through the 8 core principles. Now, as always, with every episode, I've got these notes in front of me, so I'll be checking on my notes regularly to make sure we stay on track and we get these recorded accurately for ongoing and future reference. So these are beliefs, statements that we'll just start with the statements, and I'll talk a little bit about each one, and then we can go from there. So firstly, anything can happen and every moment is unique. Anything can happen. Every moment is unique. Now, most traders would accept that as being logically true. Most people would accept that as being logically true. Everything is random, every moment is unique, and anything can happen. But from a trading perspective, this is a core principle. Number 2, I'm completely reconciled to spend the amount of money my edge says is necessary to find out if the next trade turns out to be a winner. I'm completely reconciled to spend the amount of money my edge says is necessary to find out if the next trade turns out to be a winner. This is a core belief about taking action on every trade and seeing money as an expense that is invested in order to continually test your system with an edge. Number 3, the outcome of every individual trade in a series is a unique event that has no discernible relationship with the outcome of any previous or future trade. So every trade that your edge says take is a unique event that has no relationship with the outcome of any previous or future outcome. How could it? What is the one thing we don't know? We don't know who else is trading. We don't know what their orders are. So how can you possibly, any one trade, have any relationship with any other trade, even though they might be based on the same chart patterns, the same analysis that previous trades have been based on? Every trade is unique and has no relationship with any past or future trade. Number 4, and this is a longer one, so I might repeat this a couple of times. The diversity of intentions of other traders who are about to submit buy and sell orders into the flow of the market can cause anything to happen. I am going to flawlessly execute the signal my edge calls for and make myself available to either win and collect my profits or pay my expenses. Either way, I'm fine. The diversity of the intentions of other traders who are about to submit buy and sell orders into the flow of the market can cause anything to happen. I am going to flawlessly execute the signal my edge calls for and make myself available to either win and collect my profits or pay my expenses. Either way, I'm fine. Number 5, the risk of my edge not working always exists. The risk of my edge not working always exists. Number 6, each forecast or prediction that results from my analysis is always a guess, and always in bold capital print. This is a crucial psychology principle for traders that you must accept as a truth. Each forecast or prediction that results from my analysis is always a guess. Number 7, capturing the favorable odds built into my edge. And just to quickly step to the side here, there are many different edges. There are dozens and dozens. Now, whether you design your own system with an edge, whether you pay for somebody else's system, you go into a chat room, where people are talking about their systems all the time, doesn't really matter. As long as you have a system with an edge, that's the key first step. So capturing the favorable odds built into my edge over a series of trades has nothing to do with being right or wrong. Capturing the favorable odds built into my edge, my system with an edge, over a series of trades has nothing to do with being right or wrong. This is not about any one trade. It's not about being right or wrong. It's just about capturing the odds built into your system over a series of trades, not about whether any one trade is right or wrong. And number 8, I execute every trade my edge calls for without reservation or hesitation. I execute every trade my system with an edge calls for without reservation or hesitation. Okay, so they're the 8 core psychology principles for trading, inspired by Mark, and there may be other versions of these, but these are as good a set of core trading psychology principles as I've ever come across. They're the ones that I adhere to. They're ones that are weaved through the coaching and training that I do with clients. And the key learning here is that you must consciously disconnect each trade from all others. Never ever trade on a trade by trade basis. We've got to shift our mindset to a series of trade thinking or series of trades thinking. So there is no relationship from one trade to any other trade. So I would ask any trader watching this, if you've just had 3 losing trades in a row and you've executed your system flawlessly, but you've still had 3 in a row, and the 4th trade comes up to take, what are you going to feel like? You're going to feel like that next trade's going to be a loser. That's just the way our brains are wired, right? It's not true, but that's the way our brains are wired. It's the same with if you've had 3 winners in a row. You're naturally going to think the next trade is going to be a winner. That is a deeply embedded, hardwired psychological belief. So we have to act contradictory to that belief and accept that there is no relationship from any one trade to the next. Every trade is unique. Every moment is unique. Okay? That's very, very important. So how do we make this real? How do we move from a set of words that we're calling principles into making them beliefs? And beliefs are a really interesting thing. I mean, with all of the discoveries, all of the mapping, all of the depth of understanding that scientists and researchers now have about the makeup of our brain, our bodies, right down to a molecular, atomic, or level, we still, to this day, have not found a belief. So beliefs are intangible things. So I'm a big believer that beliefs essentially are energy. Beliefs hold energy inside you, right? And where they come from is a whole nother episode, generally from our childhood experiences. And I might talk about one of those in a minute, the dog example. Okay. So how do we make those principles real inside us so they become our default stance? So, what Mark teaches, what I teach is one of the starting processes here is to follow an exact mechanical system. So we must have an exact, precise mechanical system, and we must follow it without reservation, hesitation, or exception for a minimum of 20, maybe 25 consecutive trades. Now, there can be no interpretation, zero thinking. Every entry, every exit, every stop placement must be precise. The trade either conforms precisely to the rules or it doesn't. There is no interpretation. There is no flexibility. It is rote, thoughtless, and exact. So you cannot miss a trade. You cannot break any rules. And, these, as I said, these entry and exit and stop loss order placements must be exact and determined in advance. So I think I might just quickly walk through the barking dog example. This is, again, something that Mark talks about in his book, Trading in the Zone. I'll do my best to do a sort of a distilled version of that story, which is about, the little boy who has a very traumatic experience when he's attacked and mauled by a dog as a little boy. So this then becomes a series of words, even though he may not be able to express them, that basically he thinks all dogs are dangerous. All dogs are dangerous. So this traumatic experience with a dog has led to a belief which is true. It is the truth. It holds energy. It holds terror for this boy as he's growing up. All dogs are dangerous. Now, we know in the environment that's not true. Dogs have a range of behavior from friendly, cuddly, completely innocent to dangerous and everything in between. But to the boy, every dog is dangerous. So let's just say this boy is out walking with his parents one day and they come to a corner. Can't see what's around the corner. He walks around the corner and he comes across a scene, a set of information with a group of other boys, approximately his age, having a lot of fun playing with a dog. This is completely contradictory to his existing belief, right? Completely contradictory. So he's presented with this scenario that those boys are having fun. I'd like to be like those boys, but the information I'm seeing is contradictory to what I believe to be true. This is very similar to in trading, where the rules of trading, the psychological principles of trading, are actively contradictory to a lot of the core beliefs that you will currently hold, whether you realize it or not. So this boy, of course, holds that belief. It holds a lot of terror. But over time, if he's exposed to that situation often enough, slowly but surely, it'll chip away and he'll start to see that over and over again. And his desire to be like those boys and have fun will eventually reach a threshold point where there's enough energy taken from that belief and enough energy into a potential new belief that he's prepared to take action and pat the dog. At that point, there's a massive draining of energy away from that belief because he now suddenly realizes it's not true. Not all dogs are dangerous. Okay, but it doesn't happen instantly. It happens over time. And this is the same with trading. And this is why the 20 sample set is the starting process to go through to make new beliefs real inside you. Okay. And of course, this process applies to changing the underlying limiting beliefs that keep blowing up trading accounts. Step by step, you can draw energy from old beliefs and inject energy into new beliefs that are in alignment with the person that you need to be and want to be, that achieves your trading goals. Your old beliefs don't necessarily disappear. So don't believe anyone that posits that statement as fact. It's completely false. You simply withdraw their energy. So, does that little boy, when he grows up, still have a belief that all dogs are dangerous? Yes, he does. But it doesn't have any energy anymore. It's been replaced by a belief or a fact that not all dogs are dangerous, but the old belief is still a part of him. Old beliefs don't disappear. They just lose their energy. So the key to this is personal transformation, and the key to personal transformation is clarity and desire. The speed of your transformation depends on your level of desire to transform, and your level of desire depends on your level of clarity about the person that you need to become that's in alignment with your trading goals. This will empower you to progress directly into that active contradiction of your existing beliefs being misaligned with your trading goals. And it's by consistently and determinedly following this process that you slowly but surely retrain your mind into the conviction that your new beliefs are in fact the truth that's been hiding from you for a long time. This is the process of transformation. It's in conflict for quite a period of time. This is why positive thinking, this is why this law of attraction, this is why those things on their own have no influence, because you've got to take regular action rather than just hold a set of words that you are trying to convince yourself are true. You've got to prove to yourself that they're true. And that's how it must be with your trading approach. Clarity leads to intent, intent leads to desire, desire fuels the discipline needed for continuous action. This is essentially mindset reflexology in action, training your mind into a set of new beliefs, beliefs that are 100% aligned with the requirements of long-term profitable trading, and in direct contradiction and conflict with your existing beliefs. This is why becoming a long-term, consistent, profitable trader is so hard, because you need to step through a process of resistance that comes from existing beliefs that are in conflict, and sometimes absolutely stark conflict with a lot of other things that you've grown up believing to be true. Things like, I've got to work hard to make money, I don't deserve to be successful. All of these things that can lie at a deep level as beliefs are in direct conflict with your trading goals. For example, another one would be, I am a risk taker. I am a day trader, therefore I must be a risk taker. And yet, when you analyze all of your other behavior on a daily basis, nothing that you do speaks to being a risk taker. So you see, that's an absolute conflict. You're saying you're a risk taker because you're a trader. Because, trading is about taking risks and managing, your money, managing your position. And yet everything else in your life, you're not a risk taker. So you can see that's a conflict at a deep level. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode and, feel at the very least a little inspired to double down on your trading psychology plan. And if anybody wants examples of trading psychology plans, I have a couple of examples that I could send you. Just put a message into a DM, either in LinkedIn or YouTube, or in a comment to this post, and I'm happy to share psychology trading plans, or a version of a set of structures that successful traders that I've coached have set up for themselves. Happy to share those. So I hope this episode gives you some insights and steps to create and follow to actually make these core principles real inside of you, to draw energy out of contradictory beliefs and start to inject energy into new beliefs. Okay, that is the process to follow. That is teaching your mind to reflex differently. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe to the show so you can go back over this episode, any other episode. That's over on YouTube, obviously. Because these things, often we need to watch these things over and over again to pick up little new bits of information and remind yourself of the path that needs to be followed. All right. Thank you for attending. Happy trading, and see you all again next week.